We do not have a genocide in South Africa.
It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it.
This Afrikaner refugee had a 5-bedroom house and a mining company in South Africa. You know, the way refugees have. He had to leave behind his car, his dogs, and even his mother. You know, the way that families that are in terrible danger and have to flee usually leave behind their mother. He's also a bigot, at the very least an anti-Semite and an Islamophobe. A few years ago, he posted vile, sweeping, stereotypical statements about Jews on the internet, and he also posted clapping hand emojis in response to a post about assaulting Muslims. In his defense, he says that he was standing up for his religion, and he was also on very heavy medication at the time, specifically morphine. And I'm sure we all know that when somebody takes morphine, they suddenly become a hateful bigot. This is well documented. And he says that the land expropriation in South Africa has gone too far, your land becomes worthless. I can't wait for him to find out that America has basically the same expropriation laws as South Africa, they just call it something else. And the silliest part of all, you might be amused to know that this man, who walked away from a quality of life, a standard of life, higher than the vast majority of South Africans could ever dream of having, a 5-bedroom house. His surname is Kleinhaus.
Mr. Kleinhaus wasn't facing poverty or struggle or fear of his life. Mr. Kleinhaus is owner of his own mining company in South Africa. Mr. Kleinhaus is leaving a 5-bedroom mansion. Home in South Africa. 5-bedroom home in South Africa. Where he says he left his home, his job, his cars, his dogs, and even his mother. Just grabbed his kids and left. So basically, he ran away from his responsibilities, like mortgage and bills. But most importantly, Mr. Kleinhaus is a white supremacist in Africa who has long posted anti-Semitic things about Jews and, of course, his love for Trump. And he goes on and on to post his racist ideology. So not only has Mr. Kleinhaus fully admitted that the murder rate of white farmers in South Africa is low, like non-existent, meaning that whole story that they're telling that, oh, Lord, we're afraid of our lives, is horseshit. He's heard stories of people being shot and killed, farmers like him being shot and killed before. But the reasons why they are trying to get here to America so soon is because of the end of apartheid, meaning that their land is now up for grabs because it's land that they stole from Afrikaners. Now the land becomes worthless. You get it? They're all trying to flee Africa because they think their land will become, there goes the neighborhood. Now our property value is going to drop. Yeah, white supremacy.
To all of the South African, Afrikaans refugees that are coming to America soon, I just want to let you know, as someone whose wife is Afrikaans, who's been to South Africa multiple times, you're going to have a bad time. There's no white genocide happening in South Africa. You have crime that's happening as a result of racism-fueled generational economic inequality, the same thing that's happening in America. We're just a couple decades ahead of you on the unchecked capitalism timeline. But I have good news for you. You don't have to worry about the cheap exploited labor rising up against you anymore, because now that you're in America, you'll get to be the cheap exploited labor. If you were middle class or upper middle class in South Africa and you come to America, you're poor now. Like, really poor. You're not going to have maids and gardeners and personal servants that you can pay $15 a day for. Now you get to be the cheap labor. But by all means, please come to America and experience the American capitalism that Elon Musk's been raving about to you. You'll probably love it. You know, what do I know? There's probably very little chance that you'll end up going back to South Africa in a year or two after realizing how overpriced and fucked up America is. I wouldn't even worry about that as a possibility. And if you think I'm being mean to these people because I think they're a bunch of racist, bigoted colonizers who wish they could go back to apartheid South Africa, it's just because I do think that. But to them, I say, welcome to the American dream. Please let me know when you've woken up from it.
This is one of the generation lie that ever happened. Man, I'm talking about Afrikaners, South African refugee, who are coming from South Africa all the way to the United States. Now, these people, they claimed that their land are being taken from South Africa. And we've seen that majority of these people, they own bigger lands. It means even the South Africans, they don't have the lands. So the majority of them, they own the land. But these people, they lied that there is white genocide in South Africa. That's the first lie. Now, the second lie is that they lied about being farmers. They also lied about being hunted down by the South African government, which is not true. Because South African government, what they want is that they want to share the land. They want to, to share with South Africans. But these people, they don't want it. They don't want it. That's why they fled to America. Now, they created fake stories to attract people's attention and getting into the country. So they wanted just people to have sympathy for them. They want other people, to feel sorry for them. That's why they created such stories of genocide and being killed, being discriminated in South Africa by South African government, which is not true. Other refugees follow the process to come to the country, but these guys, they have given like a go ahead from DT. DT have, given them a special care, for them to just come into the country directly without passing through all the process, without doing anything. They just come to the country. DT ignored the Latinos who have supported him, who have given him, everything, who have trusted him, but he's deporting them and importing the what? The Afrikaners, white South African refugees. Man, it's not about safety. It's not about these people, they are, fleeing discrimination or they are fleeing the South African government. No, this is about racism.
So, folks, as you may know, there are a group of Afrikaners, white South Africans have come over to the United States this week, and it's first load of South Africans to assist and help revitalize the farming industry in the United States, and it's quite controversial, as you know. Well, Donald Trump is very disappointed to find out that this group of people who just came over this week actually have no farming experience. They have no knowledge of farming, and none of them actually had farms in South Africa. When they found out that they were actually a collection of security guards, actually part-time rappers, and a guy called Bradley who almost bought a tractor once. So this is obviously a real disappointment, PR exercise failure for the Trump administration. There was even one gentleman that thought irrigation was a TikTok challenge. Folks, the source for this is the BBN. My name is Nick. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I would love you guys to give me a follow.
To the 50 Afrikaners who fled to the US, calling themselves refugees, you are not refugees. You are just a case study of white flight dressed up as martyrdom. You're not escaping violence, you're escaping equality. South Africa didn't chase you away. You ran. Yes, South Africa is one of the most violent countries in the world. Yes, brutality exists. But let's be honest, violence affects all communities, not just white farmers. Black, colored, Indian, and yes, white people are all targets of a national crime crisis. What we have is a breakdown in safety, not a white genocide. This is not ethnic cleansing, it's criminal collapse, and running to the US won't fix it. You are part of a 7% minority, but somehow still manages to control over 70% of the wealth. That is not persecution, that's privilege on a guilt trip. And let's be real, if we tried to relocate just half of the Afrikaans population, it would take decades, billions in logistics, and you'd still end up culturally homeless in a country that don't want your apartheid baggage. You're not brave, you're not victims. You're scared of a world where you don't get to be in charge, and that makes the rest of the Afrikaans community cringe, because you make us look weak. South Africa is broken, and it's our problem to solve. So if you don't have the spine to do so, stay gone.
So if you've ever had trouble understanding white privilege before, this whole white Afrikaner refugee debacle might paint a clearer picture for you. This is happening at the same time the rights of others are being stripped away, ignored, and innocent people are being rounded up illegally, including those who have been protesting an actual genocide. Just to sum things up very quickly for you, there is no genocide happening in South Africa, and especially not a white genocide. There's never been a clearer example of imperialist white supremacist hypocrisy. The very same folks denying genocide in Gaza are the ones believing that there is a genocide happening in South Africa. Apparently a genocide that targets only a specific group of white people, Afrikaners, within the various other white South Africans, who descended from many different groups such as the British, Greeks, Portuguese, Lithuanians. There are no claims of genocide against these white South Africans. Ask yourself why. What's really going on here? Now, I understand that many South Africans leave the country for better opportunities, and this applies to South Africans of all races. But peddling dangerous lies about the country, especially one pushed by alt-right, racist civil rights groups like Afroforum and shady ex-South African billionaires like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Dave Sachs and Joel Pollack, is just wrong. It undermines the country and it disrespects the real suffering that many South Africans, again of all races, face because of violent crime and poverty in the country. Not to mention actual refugees fleeing an actual genocide. Just stop it. It is pathetic and embarrassing. And you should know better than sharing right-wing racist propaganda in 2025.
These Afrikaners lied that they are refugees, which they are not. Listen, they own majority of the land. And we've seen also some of the people that are in South Africa saying that there is no genocide there. There's no white genocide. Government is not, killing those people. So these people, they lied, first of all. Okay, they are not refugees. We've seen that they own many businesses. They own majority of the land. So they are not refugees. And they are not discriminated. It's just a lie. And we've seen that they lie, they're farmers, which are not they're not even farmers, so they just playing victim. They want to play the victim so that people can have, empathy for them. That's what they're attracting. Okay. And this empathy, they will not get it. They will not get the empathy. I'm telling you, because man, there are a lot of people suffering in America. There are a lot of people facing really, discrimination, mostly from the black people, black communities. So there are a lot of people who are really suffering, who are facing the reality of suffering. So these people are not suffering. Why are they come here and claim that they are suffering? From what? So the real refugee are dying and are being deported, man. Let me tell you, the real refugee are in the country. And we've seen they are deporting them. The people who need help, they are being deported, and they are importing people who don't need help. Man, this is crazy. You cannot even explain to someone and try to understand that, you are deporting the real refugees and importing the so-called refugees, because they're not refugees. They are so-called, they call themselves the refugees, which they are not. So this is a lie. This is really a lie. So DT supported them, he gave them path, he gave them platforms. Man, these people, they get many, many benefits. Other people that are not getting, even the real Americans, they are not getting these benefits. So how can we call this? Man, it's so crazy. So imagine DT never stood. Imagine he never stood for black South Africans, for black people, black community, or let's say black people in general. He never stood for them. He never supported them. He never protected them. But you're telling me he's protecting these Afrikaners, the white South African refugees? Man, you cannot even make me to understand that, because he never fought injustice, even in the country. I'm not even talking about the outside of the country, just in the country. He never fought injustice that the black community face. He never fought that. Now, the very people who supported him, who supported him, they're being deported, man. He doesn't even care about them. He doesn't even, know them. And he's promoting those South Africans. The so-called Afrikaners, which is, man, you cannot even make me to understand that. So there are huge number of people dying in the country every day, but he turned his back on them and he opened the arms to white Afrikaners, man. That's the reality of the world. This is white supremacy. He's caring about white. He doesn't care about black or even other people. The people don't have health care. They are suffering. It's even hard to get health care. It's even hard to go to hospital, and you're caring about those people. No homes. People can't afford to eat. People can't afford a lot of things. A lot of things. Prices are high, but still you go and care about South African refugees who are lying to you, who are telling lies wherever they go. So instead of fixing American problems, he went to bring those racists in the country. Man, that's not justice. That's not really justice. So what we've seen is that white voices are heard more than black. That's what I can say. Because black voices, they don't even hear. They don't care. They don't care about black voices. They don't care about black people who are crying. They don't care about anything concerns black people. But anytime a white voice come up, they went ahead and do something. That's crazy, man. They're helping racists. It's just a priority to them, but fighting inequality is ignored. There is too much inequality. Too much inequality. So it's easy for them to fight for those people who are lying instead of fight for the people who are facing inequality. Who just want, and let me tell you one thing, these people, they are flooding the country because the government want to place equality there. The government want to put people on the same level. They own majority of the land, so they want like people to own to have like a balance in owning all those land. But these people, they don't want. That's why they fled from South Africa all the way to the country, to the United States. So these white South African refugees, they don't want accountability. They don't want to share the land. Yes. So they want, to keep their land. They want to keep themselves. So that's why when DT opens his arm to them, they just run. Yes, they run. Because they know it's going to be hard for them in South Africa. Yeah, it's going to be hard for them. So they want the privilege. But the black people, they are not getting that privilege. Man, it's so crazy. So the system is no longer protect the dying. That's why they fled, of course. System doesn't even care them anymore. So the government, the South African government want to put the system that don't give privilege to them. That's why they fled. They ran away because they know it's going to be hard for them. You seen the guy who left the mother and what? He just take the children and go and come to the country. But what they have to know is that America is different to South Africa. Yes, totally different. So wherever they want, wherever the privilege they want, it's not going to work. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. Now, if the South African government wants equality, they don't want revenge. It's just equality. It's just fairness. But these people, they don't want fairness. No. They still want to keep those land. They still want to keep it because, man, if it comes to fairness, they don't want it. They don't want to hear such words of fairness. But when they come in the country, they have to know that America is not South Africa. It's not the same. It's not the same. Yes, you were kings and queens in South Africa. Now you come to America, where you're gonna face the reality. You were kings. You are paying South African pennies to work in your farm, to work in your businesses, but you're not going to do the same in the country. It's going to be different. It's going to be totally different. Maybe you're gonna work in those farms. You never know, because now the Latinos are being deported. Those illegal immigrants are being deported. So there is no one to work in the farms. Maybe you're gonna work in the farms, even if they lied that they are farmers. Why they're not? They're not farmers. They lied. So crazy, man. Tell me what you think about this video. Tell me what you think about these white Afrikaners Man, tell me what you think about this episode. I am Fikazo. Thank you so much for watching. Let's meet in the next one.